Guest alone, and not those of Vic Canellis Media Group, its parent, affiliates, or stations. VCMG Live is not responsible for any content, information, or opinions expressed. User bears full responsibility for their reliance on such content, information, or opinions.
Ant2.tv presents You and Your Doctor, teaching you to live a longer and healthier life. Proudly sponsored by All County Healthcare, where people are the heart of our business. All County Healthcare is a Medicare certified agency where one call will service all your home care health needs. For more information, call 954-717-7027 or visit our website, allcountyhealthcare.com. Now, let's get informed to living a longer and healthier life. Here is your host for today's show.
Welcome back to another episode of You and Your Doctor. And we are with All County Healthcare. We are a certified home healthcare agency servicing Palm Beach County, Broward, and Miami-Dade. We can be reached at 954-717-7027. I am your host, Louise Gomez. Welcome to the show, everybody. And today we are lucky enough to have two guests. We have Miss Dona Jensen, and she is the community liaison for Dr. Regina Portnova. She can be reached at 954-486-5700. And Dr. Portnova is right here at 2951 Northwest 49th Avenue, Suite 201 in Lauderdale Lakes, Florida, 33313. And then we also have today with us Steve Fornataro, who is the executive director at Pacifica Senior Living Forest Trace. And the number there is 954-572-1800. And you can email him at sfornataro@seniorliving.com. And that's also in Fort Lauderdale. Welcome to the show, Donna, and welcome to the show.
Thanks
Hello?
for having us.
Oh, okay, I see you. Thanks
for having us here.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Donna. We appreciate you coming on and taking time out of your busy schedule, because I know you are quite busy. I know, Donna, you are the community liaison for Dr. Portnova. Can you just tell our listeners, our viewers, a little bit more about your background, your experience? I think you are, from what I see, you were an RN. Is that right?
I'm actually an LPN.
Oh, LPN. Okay. And so
An LPN also with a degree in business management, but
I think
LPN is fine.
I think that's great. That's probably what you need for the position that you have. It seems like you're doing a lot.
Yes.
So yeah, if you could tell our viewers and listeners what specific experience does Dr. Portnova have with working with seniors, and why is she a top choice for many?
Absolutely. Dr. Portnova is far hands above 99% of the doctors I've ever worked with.
Okay.
Dr. Portnova has her original license was in the Ukraine.
Okay.
She was actually she was a pediatrician in the Ukraine. Came to the United States in 1994. She worked with a Dr. Gaz, who kept her under his wing until she got accepted into hospital in Pennsylvania. She left her family, went 3 years to Pennsylvania to redo her doctor's license.
Sure.
Came back to South Florida, took over Dr. Gaz's practice. I stayed with her, and everything's been great since. She's been an MD since 2004 in the United States. We specialize in geriatrics, but in the office, she can take patients as young as 18 because she is internalized.
Okay. So do patients
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, do patients need referrals for an appointment to see her, or how does that work?
No. Dr. Portnova is what's considered a primary care physician.
Got it.
So even if you're an HMO patient,
right,
if you want to see Dr. Portnova, whatever your HMO is, you call them up and you tell them, I want Dr. Portnova as my primary doctor. They will change, and it's usually for the first of the next month. What most people don't realize, they all think that you can only change your insurance once a year during open enrollment. But if you live in an assisted living, an independent facility, or memory care, you can change anytime you want.
That's really
There
good
is no set.
information. Thank you for that because I think
Oh, my pleasure.
that's a very valuable tip because I was under the impression it was only once a year. So I'm
Most
sure,
people are.
yeah,
When they come into a facility and they have Dr. XYZ and they want
right.
to use Dr. Portnoy because she comes into the building, we call up the insurance company with them, let them talk to the insurance company. They're ours for the first of the next month.
Okay, nice. So what are the office
Yeah.
hours? What are the office hours that are available?
The office is open. There's always someone in the office from 9 in the morning until about 5:30 in the afternoon. She personally is in the office Mondays and Wednesdays.
Okay,
We have another doctor that comes in to cover her patients on Thursdays. We also have the podiatrist in the office, Dr. Nick Coretti, who's phenomenal. He's there on Tuesdays.
nice.
He's also one that follows us around to the different facilities. He's a phenomenal wound doctor.
Very
And we
nice.
take all Medicare patients. If, like I said, if it's an HMO and she's on the plan, and
Right.
she's on most HMOs,
Okay.
PPO, she takes almost all of them. We're also on a lot of the Medicaid programs and the
Okay, that's good to
Obamacare.
know. Nice. So how did you meet your fellow colleague here and friend, Steve Fornataro? How did you meet? Maybe Steve, you want to chime in?
Actually, we met through his regional administrator.
Okay.
I had worked with her in another building. And when Steve was coming over here, we had a little lunch together and a nice chat and said, yep, we could work together. We have a lot of the same ideas. We both love taking care of geriatric patients. We love to
Nice.
talk to them. It's, we hear history that nobody's ever going to read in a book. These
Oh, I
people
love
lived it.
that. That's so special. That's so true. So you allow them to be the voice of that history.
Absolutely. And it's so interesting.
Yeah. So, Steve, can you tell our viewers and listeners a little bit about your background, your experience, and a little bit more about how you got involved with
Sure.
Pacifica?
I
Thank you.
actually got in this the organic way. It started
Nice.
with me taking care of my grandfather.
Wow. Okay.
I have a history. My history is in construction. My background's in construction, and I came down here. My grandfather had a stroke and then another stroke,
Hmm.
and I got my first sampling of the senior medical,
Yes.
process, and I wasn't impressed.
Oh, wow.
So I changed my life and moved down here and started taking care of my grandfather, who was partially paralyzed on one side, and
Wow.
he was an assisted living
Yeah.
candidate. There's no doubt, but
Sure.
he wanted to be at home. He was a little bit different. I've learned a lot since then.
I'm
So
sure.
I took on a construction job as a super to help them get a new assisted living finished,
Okay.
and I stayed. So for the
Wow.
last 16 years, I've been coming up through the ranks, as a maintenance manager, supervised the completion of another facility, got licensed as an administrator, got my certification in Alzheimer's and
Wow.
Parkinson's, and it's just an industry that I feel like it needs people that have a passion for making change.
It sounds like, first of all, every grandparent would wish to have a grandchild like you, for sure. But it sounds like, like you said, you did this organically. It sounds like these are the type of people that are needed. Someone like you who's passionate about helping and helping your family, and then you just become an advocate because you see what could be fixed, what could be,
Right.
better, and what could you do? So you actually came up the ranks in such a way that I think you started from, the bottom and you literally worked your way up the top because it's
Yeah, it was
something you're
nice to be able
passionate.
to It
Yeah.
was nice to be able to see one built, then staff it, see it put together from the bottom, to
Wow.
learn all the regulations, and then the passion is important. It's the most important thing. I'm fortunate
Agreed.
at Pacifica to have managers and staff that have a passion for it, because it's not just a job.
Right.
It's not. If you're in it just for a job, this is the wrong industry. I mean, I do have 270 grandparents in this building.
I was going to ask you how many are there. Okay, wow. So
Yeah.
270.
We have
And
a little over 270 residents currently, yeah.
and is that in the right there at the 550 Northwest 69th Avenue?
Yes, ma'am.
And that's right
At
there.
Forest Trace.
Mhm. Fort
Yeah.
Lauderdale 33319. Okay. So 270. And can you tell me a little bit more, like if I were to go visit the location where I had, let's say I had a friend who I was considering to put there, can you tell me a little bit more about if I were to be doing a tour, what would you show me? What would I
Well,
experience?
so we're fortunate. Now, there's a couple of Pacificas in the area. We have two other ones, one in Lantana, one in Sunrise, but we're all different
Okay.
properties. The beautiful thing about Forest Trace is I have 70 acres. I have a
Wow.
huge cypress tree reserve on top of a 30-acre lake, and the campus itself is amazing. It's set up as a 55 plus.
Okay.
When you drive on, so you don't feel like you're in it's not a home. You know what I mean?
Right, right.
It's a home, but it's not a home.
You
It's
feel like
it's
it's a
not
community.
exactly.
It's a
So we have
community.
tennis courts, and we have a driving range, and we have a putting green, and we have a dock that you can fish off of, and we have a humongous pool, and we have a clubhouse with a gym, and we have the amenities that you would look for if you were moving into an apartment complex.
Nice.
We just also have the support of staff and nursing and so on. Whether you're an independent or AL, they're just at different levels. So you're never alone. You're always within touch. You know what I
I
mean?
got it. So what are the different levels that you provide? So you
We
mentioned the
have,
different levels.
yeah, we have independent. So we
Okay.
have people that move in and they can cook for them. They take care of themselves.
Right.
They might need somebody in the area in case there's an emergency, and we have
Sure.
a nurse call emergency system for that.
Nice.
Then we have assisted living, and that ranges from, assisted living is a wide range of residents.
Okay.
We do stress independence, even in assisted living. We want them to remain independent, even though we're
Yes.
here to help them out. So we have some people that take care of themselves, but need that little bit of extra help, to the person that we help shower
Yes.
and help them with
Sure.
all their ADLs. And then we also have our most special residents, which are the memory care. And these would be people that have dementia and are suffering from Alzheimer's.
Mm-hmm.
The beautiful thing about Pacifica is, we follow the original theory of assisted living, and we want residents to be able to age in place. So
Yes.
we want them to be able to move in and then move through the
Yes.
changes of life without having to be totally disrupted every time there's a new change.
That's a smart way to do it because, like you said, that disruption could be a big stressful moment for a senior if they have a
For
disruption of,
everybody, it's stressful even for the families. You don't realize how uneducated families are about assisted livings, and what's the next step, and what do we do? What do we do? What do we do?
Right.
So it's a
Yes.
lot going on
Yeah.
with that.
So now, Donna, I see how you kind of play a part too, because I guess you are the liaison. So how, and like, what's your aspect as far as connecting with the families?
Truthfully, I have always found, because I lost my mother at an early age. My father, God bless him, lived to 96, and I had him at an independent facility until COVID hit, and then I
Right.
brought him home. And by the way, Dr. Portnover and I worked all through COVID, never telemed. We garbed
Wow.
up, took our cell phones, made phone calls for the patients so they could see their loved ones.
That's
We
nice.
hugged them. We did whatever we could to keep them as comfortable as possible.
Nice. I wanted to just tell you, we're going to take a commercial break, but when we come back, we're going to continue on that conversation after COVID, what you did and how it all tied together. So we'll be right back. We're going to take a quick commercial break. Thanks.
All County Healthcare has exciting news for any and all patients with COPD or other respiratory ailments. Listen to what renowned pulmonologist Dr. Keith Robinson has to say.
Hello, I'm Dr. Keith Robinson, board-certified pulmonologist, medical director at Fusion Health Pulmonary Rehabilitation, and a board member with the American Lung Association of South Florida. We have exciting news for patients with COPD. We now offer IPV therapy at home, which has been demonstrated to improve airway clearance, decrease hospitalization, and improve quality of life of patients with COPD. Please call All County Healthcare for more information about this FDA-approved therapy.
For further information, call All County Healthcare now at 954-717-7027. That is 954-717-7027. Or visit our website at allcountyhealthcare.com. You can also find us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Remember, All County Healthcare always puts the patient's needs first. You are listening to You and Your Doctor, Living Longer and Healthier, an informative show that helps you find answers to questions you always wanted to ask, but did not have that somebody that could make a difference in your life. Call into the show if you have a question at 888-565-1470, and we will put you on the air to inform all our listeners. Now, back to our show.
Thanks for tuning back in. We are with Dona Jensen, and we are with Steve Fornataro. And Donna can be reached at 954-486-5700. And Steve can be reached at 954-572-1800. Donna, we were discussing, you were saying, right, during COVID, you and Dr. Portnova were continuing. What were you mentioning about how you were conducting business?
We didn't stop seeing patients. We didn't telemed patients.
Okay.
We went into every facility that we work with. We went to every COVID facility. In fact, Dr. Portnova ran a COVID facility. So we were there constantly. Hug patients, talk to them, let them call their families. That was the worst thing for these geriatric patients. It dropped so many of them so quickly. But the other thing, when we go to the facilities, the number that you gave is the office number. Truthfully, I'm very rarely at the office. I'm usually out on the road.
So how can we reach you? Should it be email?
Well, actually, once you're a patient of ours,
yes,
I give you my private cell phone number.
Wow.
And the only thing I ask is, please text me. I can always respond to a text.
Yes.
Even if I'm seeing patients, I can't answer a phone, but I can text you.
Nice.
So any family that wants my number, they have it.
Okay.
My patients who want it, they have it. And
That's comforting. That's
I feel
comforting.
that makes them more comfortable. And then they don't have to call the doctor as often either. And I'm less intimidating than a doctor.
Right.
Any day.
So do you have, does she have a lot of patients at Pacifica?
Yes, we're the primary doctors right now for the assisted and memory.
Oh, got it. For the assisted and memory. Nice. Yes. Okay, that makes sense. So, I think before we came on, you were telling me something about, we were talking about food. You were talking about how wonderful because food is important. I know you were saying something.
It's most important to most of these people.
Yes.
It kind of reminds me of a kid at camp.
Yes.
What did you look forward to? You looked forward to food and you looked forward to mail. Everybody was there for food and mail, always.
True.
And if you don't give them food that they're going to feel comfortable with, it's the kind of food they grew up on.
Right.
It's what they're used to eating. And you're going to have a problem.
Well, we want them to have a dining room experience.
Right. I was going to ask. That's what I was going to ask.
We are promoting a social environment here. We want our residents to talk and make friends and have a community. And so the dining room is where it starts. It's not the only place because we have activities and we do all these crafts and we do outings and stuff like that. But the dining room is where they sit with their friends and they have a restaurant style meal and they drink their coffee and they have their dessert, and we want them to be comfortable. And it can't be a TV dinner. It can't be some cafeteria food.
Right.
It's got to be the kind of food that you would go out and order in a restaurant, because they remember
Yes.
our residents, most of them eat at the exact same restaurant every night, 7 days
That's
a week,
right.
365 days a year.
Right.
It's got to be something special, or yeah, that's a deal breaker.
And tell me about your happy hour.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
plus,
want to
you know,
hear
you
about
get
happy hour.
Absolutely, happy hour.
right.
Oh, I love it.
Nothing wrong with it, a couple of drinks, a little socializing before dinner. It's important too. We want
Yes.
them to have the same experiences that I have.
Nice.
I mean, so that's what we're trying to recreate here without having to clean the house and cut the grass
Oh, yeah. Very,
Wonderful.
very
or
good
cook.
point.
Yeah.
Exactly. So the independent living people, do they have an option to eat in the living room, in the dining hall as well?
It's part of it. Yeah, it's an inclusive deal, but
Oh,
they have a full kitchen in their apartment. We have
okay.
full
So they
two
have
bedroom.
options.
Yes. Yeah.
That's nice. People like options. So I think that's
We
important.
eat at home today and we eat in the dining room tomorrow.
Options are important because it's one of the things that we're asking our seniors to give up.
That's
They're
right.
giving up options and freedoms. So when they come here, we want them to have those things. We want them to choose a meal. We want them to choose an activity. We want them to choose their friends, because, when they were at the house, they were getting to the point where they were losing those freedoms. So when they come here, we want them to have it. We want them to exercise it.
We have about 3 minutes left. I wanted to ask a couple questions before we wrap up. How does it work when family comes to visit? Do they get a lot of visitors? And how
Yeah, we
does
have families that stay with mom and dad. We have some rooms that we rent out to visitors. We have some families that come to vacation and
nice?
go to the beach, and then they can eat dinner with their families in the dining room, and so yeah, we're promoting family too. We actually have a family night coming up the last week of the month, where we come in and we do a special meal. I think we're doing Italian this month, and we invite the families in so they can eat with, mom, dad, and grandma and grandpa. And
That's
so, I mean,
special.
we try to be as family oriented as possible. We want them involved.
I like that because then there's no excuses. The grandkids can't say, "Oh, well, we can't go because
Yeah,
XYZ excuse." No, you've taken
no, we
away all
want them to
those.
use the pool. Yeah, I mean, that's, you do have to make sure that the families have access to their parents
Oh, I
and
love
grand.
that. Absolutely. And yeah, I think it's important that families involved, and that makes it, you know, so helpful for these uh people who live there because they want to have it all, and it seems like they can. So, Steve, before we go, are there any particular days where people can come in and do a tour? How would that work if somebody wanted to do a tour? Can you fill
Well,
us
you
in?
call the best way is to call that 954-572-1800 number.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Front desk will hook them up with either myself or the marketing department,
Okay.
and they'll book a tour, and we do tours 7 days a week.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
Very good. Well, I want to thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule and sharing with us and enlightening us about your community and about your services and everything that you do for the community. And
Thank you
it's
for having us.
of course, it's much needed that we give the seniors the dignity and everything that they deserve. It's very important. So I can tell you both are doing that, and I want to thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Have a wonderful evening. Take care,
You
everybody.
too. Be safe.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you for letting us share with you a